Yes, indeed, folks. We're back. Dynamite review. We are slightly late. That's how I phrased it. Slightly. Not really slightly, but we'll pretend. No one will ever know when they watch this back in 10 years for the Netflix documentary, so it's fine.
Right.
We're here nonetheless. And I think we've got ourselves a jubilant Dynamite review, an excited, triumphant review show. I'm pretty fired up to get into this. We hope everyone is well. If you are fired up, talk about some professional wrestling. You know the deal. Thumbs up, subscribe, and if you're feeling generous, send some of those wonderful super chats. Expert panel, as always. Chuck, you've had quite the evening. Tell us about it. Yeah, go for it.
Yeah, I am. As many people know, I do enjoy a trip to the pub, and I went out with my friends to go watch England play in the Euros. It was a pretty boring game, but we ran into some friends, so we hung out at the pub. And as a responsible adult, I was ready to leave at like 10:30, come home, get logged in for the Dynamite review. And then a fight broke out at this pub, and none of us were allowed to leave in case the police needed statements from us. So if you were wondering why we're late, it's because I got home about 15 minutes ago. That's why we're late, to be honest. But doing all right though. Dynamite was a lot of fun last night. I'm excited to talk about that because I'm locked in for that. It was a good little episode, probably the best of recent memories. So but yeah, real British culture, as Chat is saying. That is very British. A very British thing to happen. It's just like, yeah, ready to leave the pub and a fight broke out. It happens.
Yes,
but we're here. Made it home.
You can tell you're a real pro because you were leaving an hour early. Because for those that don't know, as podcasters, we like to get a good kind of pre-show workout in. You know, like we have different. I'm a big laps guy. I'll run around a bunch. I'll do some sprints. Hey, you pump some iron right before pod. We have different approaches, but we're both athletes, as we know. How are you? Of course. How are you this evening, mate?
I have to address the WrestlePurists audience. I was involved in some controversy yesterday, some drama. My tweets, they seem to have rubbed a section of Twitter the wrong way, and I've been told this isn't the way that you should be representing yourself online. This isn't the way you should be representing WrestlePurists. This isn't the way that you should be representing AEW fans as a larger account. And because of that, I really just have to say, Charlie, please, this is a very serious moment. Like I'm here being serious, and you're laughing at me. That's fucked up.
I'm sorry. Like, I'm sorry. I've had a few drinks. I'm sorry.
All right. So I just like I said, there's a lot of controversy. I'm never set out to, make anybody's life on Twitter miserable. And for that, I just have to say that I apologize for absolutely fucking nothing. Big AO tweets whatever the fuck he wants. You guys are just gonna continue to cry and cry and cry and make up your little backstories about me and cry some more and cry about whoever's gonna listen and cry in your little group chats and jerk off to AO hate tweets. And guess what? I'ma still be Big AO at the end of the day, bitch ass niggas. And Monty's probably gonna find me for cursing within the first 5 minutes. But I'm off the leash. No one can control me. I'm getting my shit off. So make up your little backstories about me, bro. Keep crying about my tweets. It doesn't matter. I'm doing my shit. I'm doing my thing. You heard?
Am I allowed to laugh now?
You are.
Thank you.
We did an entire pre-show meeting about the way this show is going to be formatted.
Didn't let them in on any of this.
No clue what was coming.
I was doing it, bro. It just came to me.
No clue what you're even referencing because, of course, can only imagine.
But, Joe, so the thing is, I tweeted Punk Bad yesterday. So it turned into me being worse than Hitler on Twitter and this whole thing. And, yeah.
It was the best of them. I'm going to be honest, though. I don't think it's fitting that I follow that with my announcement. So, you know what I think we should do? I think we should
I didn't even mean to step on Joe's announcement.
You're absolutely fine. I think we should go to some super chats and reset.
Let's go to some super Gareth, we're starting out strong with Gareth Southgate, $5 super chat. Last, I don't know if this Uncle Howdy business is gonna work without Calvin Phillips. Look, man, I just have to say, bro, I don't think it's coming home, my friends. I don't think it's coming home this year.
The game was shocking today. It was so fucking boring.
Yeah.
That Southgate Bowl, bro.
Bro, honestly, I've discussed this with so many people, but the team he's put together this year is so bad for like a Europe setup. Like, we have a strong front three, but none of them are runners. They're all like ball to feet players, and this is why dropping Grealish was a bad idea. Anyways, I'm not going to get into this. This is not a football podcast, but I have strong feelings on our team this year.
The homie MJF $5 super chat. K. Jack the Bucks. The West Coast always putting it in the Northeastern style. Well, come on now. I'm from the Northeast. Hey, run for your life, CM Drizzy. And first, Canada is not considered the Northeast, bro. Like, that's not a thing. That's not a thing that people say.
That was an example. You try to piece two bits together there that wasn't quite. You have to make sure that it works. Chemistry's important.
Honest Sultan $5 super chat. Unfortunately, Billy Boy will just have to look up at the lights at the end of.
That's quite the way to put it. That is quite the way to put it.
That's hilarious. Wait, I have a question. I've never asked this. I mean, this might not be the form to ask this. So I know Will Ospreay is bisexual. He doesn't really hide that fact. But has he ever said I'm a bisexual man?
He's
in a public setting
to it in captions and stuff. He's never really hidden the fact. He's very I don't know if anyone's ever directly asked him, but as far as I'm aware, he is openly bisexual.
I've seen the captions and stuff that you're talking about.
Yeah.
Talking about his day lads and lasses and shit like that. Yeah. Shout out to one of my favorite wrestlers. Gay people good. Karl Marx $5 super chat. Are we just gonna ignore the fact that Joe Holbert was on stage last night at the Forum with a red bandana repping his set? Go. I did see Joe on stage blood walking. I was gonna no sell it. We all have our private lives. It doesn't really have much to do with wrestling, but Karl Marx brought it to the forefront. So
you can't spoil my announcement like that, bro. Dude, what an event that was last.
Literally a moment that's gonna go down in hip hop history, bro. That was insane. That was insane.
Cool.
Yeah, it was incredible.
Bro, I rewatched it while I was working today, bro, from start to finish. Rewatched it.
You have to, dude. There's clips that I'll go back to over and over and over again.
Yeah.
Bro, $5 super chat bonus points for Chuck and Joe coordinating hair and t-shirt colors.
Yep.
That was planned. We talk about it. That's why we were late, really. We were trying to coordinate.
They were trying to figure out what they're gonna do.
It's a week.
All right, we're caught up for now. Please keep the super chats coming in, y'all. We appreciate it. Please like the video and subscribe as well. Yes. All right, Joe, take it away.
Indeed, and we've made such an electric start here that I almost feel bad killing the vibe. I feel like I'm coming in and ruining it for everyone. But this will be a short thing. We will move on afterwards. We have a great AEW Dynamite to review. However, it is with some regret, but I think it's necessary that I sit here before you and announce that I'm going to be stepping back a little bit in the coming weeks from WrestlePurists. The Dynamite review I've been on a lot of this year, which is really incredible considering that I intended to be on none of them. And I've had a great time. We've really had fun with it. So, no, I mean that sincerely. Yeah. We've had a blast.
Yeah.
I will be on Worldwide on Monday. Beyond that, I'm not sure. I could be on next week's Dynamite review. But after that, it will probably be a little while where I am away. I don't know when exactly I'll be back or what the show will be or anything like that because it's important to me that I step away and actually mentally detach, rather than being I'll be back on July 10th. That's no good, right? I need to step away. I need to see how it feels being separate from this brand and this platform, which has meant a lot. It's we've done a lot of cool shit, dude. I've been a part of some crazy things on WrestlePurists. I interviewed Athena under the WrestlePurists banner.
Crazy, great interview.
I appreciate it. It's been incredible, and I've loved it. But I think you always have to be aware of when you can contribute as much as you want to, when you feel like you're doing the best thing you can do, right? Right. I don't feel like I'm in that kind of form or I'm in that kind of place. So for that reason, I'll be taking a step back. Please be patient in terms of even when and what I'm doing when I return. Again, I will be on worldwide this Monday, and I'm sure we'll talk about it a little bit more there because that's the show that a lot of you guys have come to kind of know me from every week. But it's a small thing. Look, I'm just a podcaster. This is one of the shows I do. It's meant a lot to me, but I don't expect it to mean a lot to you because, fuck, man, next man up, right? Like, whoever it's going to be, that's the way the game works. So, yeah, we move forward. And I guess it's time to review some Dynamite, right, folks? Into it.
Indeed it is.
All right, I appreciate you, folks. I appreciate the support.
Hey, man. I've loved my time. I've spent podcasting with Joe, and like content burnout's like a real thing, man. It's a real thing. Like sometimes it just gets to be a lot. Even if you love what you're talking about or love the people that you're talking to it about, it's just a thing that all creators go through. We have our ups and downs. Support Joe and anything that he does whenever he comes back. The late night grin stuff. I don't have to tell you guys, Joe's loved in this space and stuff, but I just want to say that I've really appreciated the time that we've been able to make content together, Joe, and hopefully it's not too long until we can make some more.
All right, I agree.
Saying that, I have been told. I have been told that if the super chats are enough today, Joe can be convinced to stay. He is a carny first and foremost. So if the check at the end of the month is looking a little bit too good to walk away from, Joe might change his mind. So keep the super chats coming in. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Look, I'm not confirming that, but I mean it can't hurt, right? I mean, check's still going to clear, right? I mean, I don't think Monty's on some Paul E shit where I'm going to go to the bank with the old WrestlePurists check for June and go, well, hold on a second.
What's going on here?
But seriously, people have had a lot of fun with you and I. We used to do those pre-Dynamite shows, and people are like, why the hell do Holbert and AO have chemistry? And we didn't know why, but we did have chemistry, and we've been able to really have fun with that on Thursday. So it's been a hoot, Chuck. Of course, always wonderful to share the screen with yourself. So there is that. I appreciate all the love in the chat. And again, I'll be around. Even when I've already recorded something you guys are going to see eventually. It's like, I will be around. It's just, I don't know when and on what show. So please have some patience in that regard. I appreciate you. All right. Enough about me. Let's get to Dynamite because it was a hell of a Dynamite. And we got straight into the action as advertised. No commercials. Opening match. MJF returns to the ring for his first match of 2024. In there with a fresh matchup, an exciting matchup with Roosh. This one looked enticing on paper because Roosh has one way, right? And you're gonna have to match that. You're gonna have to wrestle that way. And I thought Max did a good job in doing that. Was very high on this opener, Chuck. What did you make of it?
So I've watched this match twice now. I watched it last night live, and I watched it again today, just the match. And I had two very different opinions coming out of it. Last night, I was a little bit disappointed by it, not because it was a bad match, but like the amount of anticipation they like built up just from like a 2-3 week build. I went into it expecting a lot more from it, but like watching it back, I was just like, this match is really fucking sick. It was like a great match. Like it was what I was anticipating if they had done like a 2-month build and not like the heated 2-week build that they did. Because I went into it last night. I was just like, this is going to be a bit of a bloodbath. They're going to be wrestling for like 25 minutes. And then it was just like, oh, it's like a 20-minute time limit. I was just like, oh, okay, immediately this isn't what I was going to expect it to be. But it's like they weren't lacking intensity or anything like that. They were like going at it like from the get-go. I think the pace of it just surprised me last night, and it really threw me off a little bit. But like watching it like just like by itself, like just as a match today, I was just like, yeah, this was a great match. They had fucking incredible chemistry, and Max really met Roosh like in the middle with the style that he wrestles. Like he really adjusted to that, and he used this because like when Roosh is doing his heat segments, he does them in a very specific way, and like Max like really like worked in a way that suited that last night. Like he did like the classic selling, and he really made Roosh look like a killer. So like I can't put him at all in that fact. But yeah, like watching it live, like the vibes were a little bit different to like watching it again. But yeah, overall I did really enjoy the match. It just wasn't what I was expecting like when I first watched it.
I understand that completely. God forbid I quote Ibu of WrestlePurists, but I actually thought he had a good point when he said that this kind of felt like a couple different matches pieced together, and I think that's where you bring up pacing, Chuck. And I do think there's something to that, and I think part of that is because Roosh is so direct with his approach, and Max sprinkled in some more classical elements to go with it. So it wasn't like a natural fit, but they're still talented enough that it worked for me. Oh, how did it come off for you?
Yeah.
So I liked this match, but I liked it a lot actually, but I kind of like walked away from it the same way that Chuck felt, where it didn't really meet my expectations of what I thought we were going to get from two in-ring workers of this caliber. And with the level of, like, it's not just like, oh, we're scrolling Twitter and then we see a Tony Khan tweet this Wednesday on Dynamite, MJF versus El Toro Blanco Roosh. Like, no, this was a match that was built up to for a month basically. 20 minutes commercial free, pay-per-view quality match. And if you told me that was the best match that Roosh and MJF could have, I'd call you a liar. But I still really did enjoy it. When they started off, there was no collar and elbow tie up. They ran to each other, started punching each other in the face immediately, and then like they didn't really keep that pace the entire match. So I was like, so Roosh wrestles everything like it's a blood feud, right? So that's how they started off the match. That's how they started off the match, and MJF met him with that intensity, and then they kind of slowed it down, and then I felt like the finish was kind of flat because he hit the heat seeker, and I'm like, oh, that's not the finish. MJF never wins with the heat seeker anymore unless it's a jobber, and then he hits a sheer drop brainbuster, 1, 2, 3, and I was just like, oh, that's it. So I was kind of disappointed in the finish, but I still really did enjoy it. It was a good showing. But yeah, I walked away a little bit disappointed. I didn't get the second rewatch that Chuck did. So maybe if I watch it in isolation, I'll feel completely different knowing like what I'm going into. But yeah, it was still very enjoyable.
I think there's two factors on the finish, right? Firstly, he's trying to get the brain buster over as a finish, which I think we all were fine with conceptually. That does take some time in itself. Yeah. I think the bigger issue, and issue is a true strong of a word, but I do agree with you. It did come off slightly flat. Jesus Christ, I'll speak. They lacked like a see how washed I am. You wonder why I'm stepping down. They miss like a little bridge to the finish. You know, in that moment in the match where it escalates just enough, you go, we're about to go.
Yeah, like the tension swells. And
exactly. Yeah, that step wasn't taken. So when the finish arrived, it was kind of like, oh, I felt like they had more ahead of them there. From Max's point of view, I don't think I'm talking out of turn to say. I do think he looked a little rusty, which is not like a criticism. It's been 6 months. Like, I mean, that's completely fine. Right. A compliment, I would say, though, and I was actually really happy to see this. I thought Max's babyface work here was way more like authentic. I am actually trying to be a babyface than, hey guys, I'm pretending to be a good guy. You know, like he did a little bit with the eye poke, but I thought he was really trying to be an earnest wrestling babyface here. And guess what? It worked, dude. The people want to chant MJF. They love him, you know. So I always have said
it's a lot easier when someone like Roosh is beating the piss out of him.
Because you got to just sell, right? You sell, and he's going to be a heel. That's what he does. So the thing with Max is they love him. It's just a matter of him trusting himself as a babyface to actually be a true babyface. Now, there's a direction they tease later in the show. That may not be a long-term fit, but for matches like this, it was important. So I thought it came off well. And then we had a post-match situation here. MJF's in the ring, and someone starts talking from the big screen. And I legitimately laughed out loud at the sight of the Gates of Agony. Because, I mean, I love the Gates of Agony, but like, what the... Yeah. And then I remembered they're friends with Hechicero. And Brian Cage is somehow, folks, and I have not monitored this closely enough to tell you how, but he appears to have emerged as like the de facto talker of a four-man faction, which is a development we did not see coming here in the world of professional wrestling. But he's doing it, and he's doing okay. And he announced that Hechicero will face MJF at Forbidden Door. A fun one. I think we all kind of was unsure what MJF's, like what his natural match was at Forbidden Door.
Yeah.
I guess now we have our answer. Oh, what do you make of the matchup for the pay-per-view?
I like it. Hechicero is obviously extremely talented. Every time he's come to AEW, he's gotten over. He's had great matches. He had our Gold Danielson on the ropes during the match, and during the tag as well. I've seen some people disappointed. They don't think that he really has the star power, and like this isn't really what you would want MJF doing on a pay-per-view as big as Forbidden Door, and I get that. But I think from in-ring quality, like it's gonna be a really good match.
Yeah, I agree completely. I think there's a novelty to this that's fitting for Forbidden Door. I think this is kind of To me, this is the season to do weird shit like that. Like video game matches.
Just give me some shit that I'm never going to see anytime else, bro.
It's fun to get a matchup you never would have even considered. Like, why would Hechicero wrestle Max? I don't know. We'll find out. we'll see how it goes. Chuck, are you excited for this one?
I am. I was a little bit surprised by it. I was just like, this is not what I expected. Not necessarily from the Max perspective, but from Hechicero. I was just like, oh, they're going to put him in with like a technician or something. Because that's what I'm used to seeing him sort of wrestle, like in front of like American audiences, even when he was over in the UK. But I think this is going to be a really fun matchup. I think it's going to really surprise people by how good this actually is. And when it comes to like the star power thing, Hechicero is so good at getting people on his side, with a live audience. Like, he impresses so easily. Like, he had like York Hall like all behind him, and like the British crowd sometimes they're a bit funny about people like that, like sometimes. So, but no, I think it's going to be really fun. I have no issues with this match, and I think Hechicero is a star anyway, so I'm well happy to see this. I'm happy he's getting a single spot on a card like this, to be honest.
The Brits can't talk tonight, folks.
I am like 6 ciders deep. Like, this is...
At least you have an excuse.
What a beast.
At least you have an excuse. All right, backstage promo. Mark Briscoe at his very best. This needs to be a weekly play.
It really does.
They stumbled into it last week. The novel theory of, why don't we just let Mark Briscoe talk? It ruled. They went back to it. Let's keep going back to it. That line he had about the word of the day, and then he said another one. He said, there's 2 words of the day. And as he's talking, Kyle O'Reilly's popping huge. Orange is no. And I thought Dante was maybe the funniest here, because he just sort of was like, I guess so, yeah. Very, very steady personality. But maybe funnier than any of that was when Jack Perry emerged and a shriek, dude, a scream emerged from the building here. Quite the reaction. He walked past.
The scapegoat is a star, brother.
It was like an actual awesome reaction to Jim. It was a genuine scream. Mark Briscoe was unmoved by this and continued his promo, and away we went. We'll get to the 8-man in a moment. But Chuck, Mark Briscoe, at it again.
I love Mark Briscoe so much, and honestly, like, his dynamic with Orange and Kyle O'Reilly, like, when they first like put all these guys together, I was just like, this is so fucking random, but I'm here for it because I like all the guys. And now I'm just kind of like, don't split them up, because like, there's such a funny dynamic between these 3, and they have great chemistry in ring as well. Like, I don't know, this was just really good shit. And when Jack Perry walked in, I was just like, holy shit, the people really care about the scapegoat. Like, obviously we've seen it on a week-to-week basis, but like, him just walking past this group of people, like, that he, like, 2 of them are in the same match as him as Forbidden Door, the crowd are treating that as a big deal. And when Jack Perry's coming back off of what he did, that's what you're trying to achieve. So like, they did achieve that in this segment just by him appearing here. So no, I really like this. So Mark Briscoe is probably the funniest promo alive, honestly.
I agree. Jack has benefited from, obviously the angles helped him, but also the rest of the group are like willingly goofy. And he's like the one who's, he takes himself really seriously. And I think that's helped him too. I think he's built up, like, there's a little bit of a mystique there. And I think it shows. Good stuff here, all right?
Yeah, I like this a lot, bro. I'm so happy that Mark Briscoe has become like a weekly television character in AEW, because even like when the whole Jay thing happened, and there was the reports that Warner Brother Discovery is finally going to let a Briscoe be signed and let Jay be honored and let Mark be on TV. It was kind of a fear that was just like, all right, he's going to be AEW in name only, kind of, and then like stashed on Honor Club, where he's not really Warner Brother Discovery's problem. But it hasn't been the case, especially since he's come back from his injury and the paternity leave. I want to watch him interact with everybody on the roster. You tell me Mark Briscoe has a backstage segment with Kip Sabian, I'm there, bro. Like, you tell me he's gonna have a promo battle with Serpentico. Sign me up, brother. Like, it's so unfortunate that him and Jay couldn't have been signed with AEW since 2019, bro. Because they would be like two of the biggest stars in the fucking company at this point. But we're just I'm happy at the goal that we're getting right now. Like, when he told, when I think things are funny, like sometimes like there are 2 things, like wrestling funny and actual funny are like 2 different things to me. Like when I see something that's like funny on wrestling, I don't like audibly laugh. I'm like, oh, that's pretty funny.
Right.
But like Mark Briscoe pops me, bro. Like that motherfucker makes me laugh. When he told Jack Perry, "Get the fuck out of here, bro," I was crying, bro.
You
and
believe
then
that's what
rambling.
Right, but that's what you believe. That's what that character would do, right? Mark Briscoe would not be like, "Oh shit, Jack Perry's here." He'd be like, "Let me carry on my promo," you know?
Yeah.
That is.
I do have a question, real quick. So I didn't watch Collision in full because of when Collision was on. I was on a coach back from Cardiff. How has Dante Martin gotten involved in this?
He beat Moriarty to get into the
so
team.
He's in the ladder match.
The ladder match is part of this. Because
because the others are
it's like all-star ladder match.
It's a weird,
It was just a preview type of, but I was just I didn't know if I'd missed like a segment where like he was involved with like Briscoe or Riley or something like that.
It's very loosely connected, but they're actively framing it as all-star tags. So it's like I think they're trying to establish the concept that they may just give us a graphic every week. There's 6 guys that are not connected because these are
they should.
And they should, absolutely. I was just making sure I hadn't missed something.
No, I've got you completely.
No.
Everyone else was like connected, other than like Zach, but it makes sense because Zach was coming in for.
I've got you completely. It's just I think we're all strong believers in the idea that like within the context of a wrestling promotion, there should just be wrestling matches that are booked without guys like bumping into each other backstage. Like, imagine it's a shoot, guys would get to the show and
it's a fighting league.
Exactly.
Bro, AEW. WWE, New Japan Pro Wrestling, CMLL, AAA, at the end of the day, TNA, at the end of the day, they're supposed to be fighting leagues, right? Where you signed up for a job where you are a professional combat athlete and you're fighting other professional combat athletes. You shouldn't only get work when somebody throws a drink in your wife's face or steals your dog or something like that. That makes no sense, bro. Having one of these a week, even one of these every 2 weeks, it should be the standard, I feel like.
And once you establish that as the standard, when you do shoot an angle, it stands out more, right? Rather than every week people being interrupted. But anyway, that's another conversation for another day. We're about to get into really perhaps the headline from this show, the big time Swerve and Osprey segment. But before we do, there's a lot to talk about there. I'll take it away with some super chats, mate.
Gotcha. Let's see.
Are they going into this?
The homie Ben, $5 super chat. I just wanted to thank CEO AO Super Lawyer for freeing Marvel vs. Capcom 2. The fighting game community should say thank you to the GOAT, Charlie Joe, GOAT. So I'm not a big fighting game guy, mostly because I'm ass at them. But Marvel vs. Capcom is something that I did have a lot of fun with my childhood. So I will be trying to get back into fighting games. I agree with you there, Ben.
God bless.
Honest Assault in $2 super chat. Okada and Briscoe can say anything and it'll pop me. Pretty much at this point. They're just their timing is like most of comedy, really, bro.
Absolutely.
Honest Assault in another $2 super chat. Joe taking a break is 15 9/11s. Look, bro. As a New Yorker who was alive during 9/11, I can confirm. I can confirm. Ave, I apologize if I'm butchering your name. Ave, $8 Australian. Joe's the sickest. The 3 that's on screen at the moment is my fave purist rotation. I appreciate that, bro. Thanks for the good times.
They have been good too. They really have. It's very fun.
Yeah, have been fun times. Amir F, $2 super chat. Was my first AEW show. Had a great time being there. What a show to go to, bro.
Right?
What a show. Awesome Dynamite.
Cool shit on Rampage too, from what I hear.
Bro, Rampage looks like a kick-ass card, bro.
I know. I'm going to be on the air against it for Late Night Green, and it's like, you couldn't have booked a shitty Rampage, you know? Like, we're doing like a TNA watch-along, you know?
No.
You know, I can't
Speaking of TNA watch-alongs, bro, did you see this Ace Steel versus Kazarian match booked for tonight?
So,
I'm sorry, who?
Yes,
Ace Steel versus Frankie Kazarian is booked for tonight.
Yes. I believe in a gimmick match of some kind.
Yeah, like a street fight or something like that.
Yeah. My immediate reaction to that, of course, because it's me, was that sounds like a grin along.
I'm absolutely watching it. I'm 100% watching it. Like, you couldn't stop me from watching this.
I will be going to bed. Can't say I'll be locked in.
Hey, as the wise man once said, yo, this one's for the sickos. It's for the sickos.
Who said that?
I don't know, some fucking Mark. J LUFC, £2 super chat. Hoping to get a ticket for Cardiff. Gonna be tough. I'm happy. I'm happy for you guys. That's gonna be a dope show. How many people fit in that arena? I didn't look it up.
Bro, it's only 7K at usual capacity. So for wrestling, it's gonna be like 5K.
What arena is it?
It's the I was trying to pronounce it earlier.
Do you know, Chuck, if it's the one the WWF just run? Because I was there, so I could give insight on this.
Maybe it's the one. It begins with U. It's like the Utila, something like that.
They've changed the name, so I get confused. They changed the name of these things now. Sound like an old man then. If it's the building I was at for the WWF house show, it is one of the coolest wrestling buildings I've ever been in.
This one. It's whatever Simon just said in chat is that one, because I can't say it.
It's one of those spots that's like, because that's a good attendance size. The ticket's going to be hell, Jay. That's
the
honest, I mean, that is what it is. Like, that's going to be rough.
God bless anyone that has to buy real tickets, because I will be applying for media.
That's gonna be a motherfucker to get into the door. Even on media, like, we have a good relationship with AEW, so I'm sure we'll be okay. But like, when they expect these outs, like the Revolution for Sting's retirement, bro, they were turning away media that get comps all the time. They
2 people from WrestlePurists applied. Like, only I got it. Lexi didn't get approved from media because they were only letting 1 per person in.
Yeah, it's gonna be tough. If you do get in there, though, it's one of those buildings that's it's low, so everyone's right on top of the action. You know, it's
like, not a bad city.
Exactly that. Like, the sound in there was incredible. So that would be great TV. I think it's such a no-brainer. It made sense last year to me. So, you know, I think it makes sense.
I get why they didn't do it last year, because of like they want to do like the first international show in Wembley Stadium, whatever. I love Cardiff. Is such an incredible wrestling city in general. Like, I go to Cardiff all the time for like indie shows and that. Like, it's so easy to get anywhere in Cardiff, and the community wrestling wise is fucking incredible. Better than London, like miles and miles better than London. So I'm really happy that they're running the show in Cardiff. I will be there. If you haven't gathered, I will be in attendance for this show.
Love it. Good to hear.
Very excited.
I
woke up from a nap before that. I was like, sorry. Continue.
You're good.
No problem. Berkey $2 super chat. Finals lost into Joe break. Worst month of my life. Berkey, my old friend Berkey. I hope you've learned your lesson. Stop putting your faith into bearded white men. They're gonna let you down every time, bro.
Spot on.
They're just gonna let you down every time.
That's the most insightful thing we've ever said on this show, I think. So yeah.
Bro, $5 super chat. Would y'all rather see Danielson versus Claudio or Nigel at Wembley? Seems like they're teasing a Claudio turn. They have been teasing Claudio's not really happy with Danielson. Yeah, they have. So
me personally, I'd rather see the Nigel match because there is such a novelty of that happening in Wembley Stadium. They could run Claudio versus Danielson anywhere and it would make a lot of sense.
Yeah, they could run that at All Out and it would be perfectly fine. Which would it's going to be like 3 weeks after.
Novelty's the word there. Like, Dragon and Claudio would be sick, but it's not.
Yeah.
I don't know. It doesn't have that.
I'm not going to be upset at either.
I wouldn't be upset at either. My thinking with this, though, is like Danielson versus Claudio is just going to be another great match on the card, which it seems like this year they've learned their lessons from last year. And they're going for great matches up and down the card. I don't think you just need to make hand fist another great match in the card. I think you make a moment with Danielson versus Nigel, and you pull that trigger at Wembley.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
The homie Chi-Town Spurs $5 super chat. That Rampage leading into that CMLL card is real grabs.
I don't know what's.
I agree, bro. I don't remember what's on it, but I saw it last night, and that Friday Arena Mexico card kicks ass.
I mean, that's one way to spend a Friday night, but you could also go back 15 years and watch Slammiversary 2009, right? It depends the kind of guy you are, really.
What's on that show, Joe?
Oh, what's on, brother? It's Main event, King of the Mountain match. Okay, you ready for this lineup?
Oh, no.
The world's champion, Mick Foley, is defending his belt. We have AJ, Kurt, Samoa Joe, and AEW star Jeff Jarrett. That's the guy who has in that match. 2009. Joe, Jarrett, Angle, AJ, and the big man, Mick Foley. King of the Mountain, by the way. So that's what we'll be watching tomorrow, which I'm sure will be a great adventure.
I might be tapped in for that. I might be tapped in. It does sound like a hoot.
It does.
Bam. Bam, $2 super chat. Purist was the first tower, and now Joe is the second.
Oh my god.
Bro, what will the libs take from us next, bro?
That's the obvious answer, right? That's where my comeback's got to be, right? We got to reboot Purist with Joe Holbert. So
with Joe Holbert leading the
yeah, it's obvious.
A little blackface never hurt nobody, right?
I think that's actually very untrue. I think it's hurt many people.
My goodness gracious.
It would hurt a lot of people, namely me. This has really been a roller coaster.
I was fed that line by Ibu. He told me to say it. So if you're gonna get mad at someone, get mad at Ibu, chat.
It was too funny. I would never get mad at it.
Jumanji Hunter $2 super chat. Wild card Shane O'Mac. Bro, I saw that news and I saw people popping ironically and people popping unironically. It's just I don't think it's funny or interesting. I don't think there's anything Shane could do in AEW that would have me being
it would just be a moment for wrestling Twitter and then nothing, to be honest.
As a one-off, oh my fucking god, that's hilarious. I get it.
Yeah.
But actually earnestly wanting Shane McMahon to do stuff in AEW is insane. Come on.
Yeah, come on. Let's be better. Let's do better. Chi-Town Spurs, $5 super chat. Joe, wish you all the best. I'm a firm believer in taking breaks when they are necessary facts. Just like the break I'm about to take from the Chicago Bulls.
Yeah, you're not alone based on what I saw tonight. That was...
Bro, I was waiting for the additional trade compensation to come out, and it just never came.
You did. No.
So it appears to me that Alex Caruso, who is one of the model role players you would want in this league to win a championship, was just traded straight up for P. Giddy, one of the worst players in the National Basketball Association, and somebody with some very sketchy allegations. So we'll be praying for you.
I don't know if that's how Woj is going to break it down, but that's the WrestlePurists take on the matter. All right, we all caught up, brother.
We are all caught up.
We sure are. All right. Will Ospreay, Swerve Strickland, big time face-to-face segment. And we say big time a lot around here, just as a way to phrase it. This was actual big time pro wrestling.
Big time stuff.
Main event face-off. One of those ones where you put two guys up with each other. All they need is a mic each, and that's going to feel blockbuster, and it did. Both guys really brought it. Ospreay has that fire that's been kind of the highlight of his promo work in AEW, and you could tell Swerve had really considered what his approach was. They're really telling the story of how much that belt, Swerve's he's being outright threatening here and intimidating, right?
Yeah.
And kind of the idea that he has an edge that Will's just not ready for in the world's title match. This was definitely the right call. God, this was totally the right call. Any doubts that may have been there, I think have been silenced. This match feels massive, Chuck. What did you make of the segment?
God, this was an incredible segment. I was excited for this match no matter where it ended up happening. I was kind of not, I don't know how to phrase it. I was confused about it being a Forbidden Door match because of what Forbidden Door is. But at this point, I just don't care because I'm just really fucking excited to see the match now. I was anyways, but after this segment last night, and I'm really glad that they've able to focus in on about it being about the AEW World Championship and less about their history together. Because anyone that knows that Swerve and Ospreay have a lot of history on on the indies and stuff. And they ended up going different directions and whatever, but Like, they do have plenty of history, but they didn't have to lean into that it was so much about the here and now. And like Swerve is back into that level of intensity, which made people fall in love with him during the Hangman feud. And like, it really came out here. And because Ospreay did the line of "Don't make it personal. It doesn't need to be personal. We're just two really fucking good wrestlers." But Swerve went there anyways because of that is the type of person he is, and that's how he got to be the AEW World Champion. That's how he got where he is now. So, fucking love this segment. I think that there was just one very funny line about Swerve calling himself a podcaster. Popped me huge. That is like the one line I was just like, man, did you need to say that? But he was making like a good point about like he has so much to fall back on. Osprey's just a wrestler. Like, I thought that was like a cool way to frame it, but no, I fucking love this segment. And it made me, because of how good this segment was this week, it made me glad that they didn't get on mics last week when they had that face-to-face, because like it made it like more must-see to see them like actually talking to each other about this match. I'm really excited for it. They've like sold me on it even more, and I was already sold on this match before it was even booked anywhere. So
yeah, it had the vibe of when before a big time fight in maybe the boxing world where they do the big sit downs. I'm sure you've seen many of it. Swerve especially, I thought, was tapping into that at times. But just the idea of just straight up like, it's all well and good that like you want to be a double champ, but you don't like, this is just not, you're not just walk in and take this belt. I'm gonna beat you up. It wasn't, to me, I like the fact that it actually felt like there was an intention of violence, because let's be honest, there's a version of this build that's like overly respectful.
Yeah.
There's like it would have been a waste. This is way better. Oh, what did you make of the segment?
So I love this. I absolutely love this. I feel like this is one of like the best world title promo battles that we've had in the short history of AEW. But I talked to Ibu about this privately when the feud started, and he was like, because Osprey and Swerve are really good friends in real life, right? So they were like putting over each other on the timeline, and Ibu like hit me up. He was like pissed about where this feud is going. He's like, they're touching tips on the timeline. They're about to make out. Like, this is not a world title feud. Like, they're not acting like this is a world title feud. And I was just like, bro, they haven't like had a single segment together yet. Like, can they get in the ring and actually do something before we talk about where this is going? And then last week happened, which obviously he loved that because that was great. And then this week happened, and it wasn't even a home run. It was a grand slam. And I was like, I was trying to like make that analogy to him. That was like, bro, when they promote like these huge world title like prize fight boxing matches, like it starts off as like both the guys putting each other over to like, it's like, oh, he's the best in the world, I'm the best in the world, two of the best in the world about to fight, and then all of a sudden Floyd's talking about somebody's dead father, or Tank's talking about how after he knocks you out he's gonna have sex with your girlfriend. Like, it always like devolves into that and that's where it went. Like, I sent Ibu a picture. It was I was like, Ibu be like, and I sent him a picture of Floyd standing across from De La Hoya, and I was like, Ibu thinks this is flirting. Then I sent him the picture of Swerve and Osprey, the one that they took backstage with like both their belts on and stuff, staring each other down, and he's like, this is sexual harassment. He's like, bro, I always told you it was gonna turn into this. And he never admits when he's wrong, but I ended up being right. This was great. I love the fact that I feel like in story, like Swerve is like going back to like his evil ways, because he felt like that's what he's told us. He felt like that's what he had to do to win the title. And now he's going back to that because he feels like that's what he has to do to protect his title from Will Ospreay. Like, he has to go back to being that guy, which I think is a really cool story beat. Like, I absolutely adored this.
Yeah, absolutely. And, the conflict doesn't have to be this kind of convoluted drama. It's like the reason there's an issue here, and the reason tempers are flaring, and you mentioned that, the comparison you made there. The reality is both guys are offended the other guy thinks they're going to win. That's what it needs to be. Like, Swerve can't believe this dude really thinks he's about to come and just take this belt and be double champ 3 months into the promotion or whatever. Like, it's not happening. And to me, sometimes we can overcomplicate things so much. Big personalities talking shit to build a match, that's pro wrestling. Like, this was home run. It was probably the best on a show that had a lot of really good stuff. Like, there's actually a real compliment this week. This was great. So I think we're all really excited for the big time match at Forbidden Door. Do we think the Don Callis business was a hint as to where they're going? I would rather, someone mentioned to me this on the timeline, I would actually rather that Will hesitates on the Tiger Driver and Swerve beats him clean.
Yeah.
Then do the business with Don because he's upset at Will.
Yeah.
I think that's better. But I don't know.
I don't think Don Callis factors into this finish. I think he was brought up because he is part of Osprey's character in AEW, for better or for worse. So like you have to address the elephant in the room. So what better way than being like the champ being like, oh, I bet you need Don to beat me. I bet you need Don to beat me. So Will has a reason to go to the Don Callis family and be like, yo, like, stay the fuck out of my business. Like I could beat Swerve on my own. And then when that doesn't happen, which I'm assuming it doesn't, then you do the whole Don Callis breakup angle and stuff. So I think it was just addressed so it could be like put on, so he could be like banished or whatever. And then after the match, they do their thing.
That makes sense. Chuck, are you leaning in the same direction?
I am. It's quite full circle for Osprey as well, because like Dom was involved with the match with Kenny last year at Forbidden Door. So it does come full circle for him, like not being a factor in why Osprey loses, but like them kicking him out of the family after he loses here, because then Callis can do his whole thing of, well, you beat Kenny by God Omega with me by your side. Look what happened when I wasn't by your side, sort of thing. So I think that's like the best way to spin it here. I don't want to see them involved in the match, man. Like it's going to be an incredible match. You don't need to do like a interference angle. I think it would be much better for it to see it like Osprey like just getting laid out after the match by the Don Callis family, because it adds more tension with the Fletcher thing as well, because like they were United Empire before they were Don Callis family. So
yeah, and they're playing that up. Like Kyle looked really
absolutely
right? And I honestly would do the angle on the Dynamite after, because I just think the idea of closing Forbidden Door with Swerve is the world champ. Like there ain't no debating about it. Like he beat him. That's that. And, I would do that because we've all talked about, we've been big on Swerve's presentation over the last month or so, but like this feels like it could be huge for his legitimacy as the top guy. Right. So I think they've got to prioritize that. I think he's doing his part, right? So
the bad, there's the bad faith grifters that are just like, oh, you put the title on Swerve, but is he a paper champion? Look at how they're presenting Osprey and stuff. And I feel like some like actual fans have been like kind of insecure about that. But then you see them face to face. You didn't have that home run segment, and some of those fans try to get those Osprey chants off when they were talking, and the crowd just wouldn't let them, bro. Like those house, Swerve's house chants just completely drowned them out. And I feel like when he beats Osprey at Forbidden Door, like it's gonna be really cemented that he's the guy that they're going with into Wembley. Does he escape Wembley with his title? I'm not so convinced. I'm not so sure if a certain cowboy pulls up, but
yeah, that's my feeling. I think it's really overstated. There's this idea online that Swerve has got less popular, and just straight up, like I just don't. If you have volume on the show, it feels like he's getting a huge reaction every week. Like, and that doesn't mean you have to have loved the way they've used him, because I think there are fair critics, right? Like I get some of it definitely. We know that some of it is done in a performative way, but I think there's other times where like, I get that. I wouldn't have done that, maybe that, but he's coming out and getting a star reaction. You mentioned it. He was obviously Osprey, and it weren't like the people were seeing him as a paper champ to my ear. It sounded like they thought this was a really big match. So, I don't know. So it's a weird one, but those things happen, I guess. All right. Back to the professional wrestling action. 8-man all-star. 8-man tag. We have Zack Sabre Jr., Roderick Strong, Takeshita Fletcher opposite Orange Cassidy, Kyle O'Reilly, Briscoe, and Dante Martin. Look, we talked about it a little bit earlier. This should be a weekly part of the formula. This should be a play call they go to, switch out the talent, do it with the men one week, do it with the women's division another week, play around with it. This gives you so much from a TV perspective because the action's always good. It really flexes your talent roster, which is your biggest strength. We get to see cool, novel matchups that aren't going to get singles matches. Like, this is a perfect way to add to the TV show. Chuck, what did you make of it?
Yeah, indeed. It started a little bit messy, but when they hit their groove, like the fluidity in this match was crazy. Like, there were so many people who had chemistry in this match that I never really saw coming. Like, I feel like Kyle like meshes both as a team and as opponents with like pretty much everyone in this match. Like Kyle O'Reilly, that is, and like And I'm really happy that Dante Martin got like a proper showing in this match. He wasn't just the fourth man in the team. Like he had like his standout moments in this. But it was like, I don't even know what to call out in this match. Like the closing stretch was crazy. Like there was just so much fun. Like I physically could not like look away from my TV because there was constantly something happening. And that's what you want from a match like this. It's just, like, it is like people call it like spot fest, but you do want to see something happening like every moment. There's 8 people here to be doing stuff, and like no one was outshone. Everyone got their time. Like we got like previews of like stuff that could happen in the ladder match, stuff that could happen with like OC and Zack Sabre Jr. in their match. Like I don't know, I really, really love this. It felt very 2018 in many ways, both in that it was kind of PWG Ring of Honor stuff, but also like this is very like UK Brit wrestler as well because of some of the people in it. Like I don't know, it was just a really fucking cool match. Like when I saw the graphic, I was just like, oh shit, Schadenfreude and Friends. Like this is the sort of shit that reminds me of. But which like 4 people in our chat is gonna understand what I mean by that. But no, it was really fucking cool. I really, really love this match.
You know, the phrase spot fest has got like such a connotation, there's negative connotations.
Yeah.
There is always place for a wrestling card on a spot fest. Absolutely.
Exactly.
Now, this particular match, like, because it had time, they did have a chance to like flesh some things out, right, and space some things out.
Mm-hmm.
But it was still a party match. It was still all action. There should be there's 8 guys in there. Everyone has cool offense. We got a bunch of good stuff here. This is a winning formula, I think. What did you make of the match?
I loved this. Like I said, I think this should be a common thing going on in AEW, this type of match. Like people just like get the spot fest shit off, but it should be a spot fest, right? Yeah. Like it's 8 people, get your shit in, bro. Like that's like one of my legitimate like issues with early Collision would be okay, we have these huge multi-man tags at the end. Okay, we're watching Brody King really sink in a headlock. And then we're watching Buddy Matthews really sink in a headlock. And then we're watching Malachi Black really sink in a headlock. And it's just like, do we all, like, does everybody need a heat segment? Like, get your shit in, bro. Do some cool moves. And that's what we're getting from this. Like, I don't think it really makes sense for, like, people to, like, doing, like, everybody doing a heat segment, everybody doing a tie-up, everybody doing this, everybody doing that. When there's a whole bunch of awesome athletes in there, show off what you could do. And I think they knocked it out of the park. I loved that match last night.
I think to your point, because I know we had different experiences of Collision, which is fine, right? I mean, that is what it is, but it's always case by case. You mentioned 2 great examples with the House of Black. When they had their Collision main event, it did feel like they were being crowbarred into a formula, right? And it was like, this doesn't suit. I've said this for ages with House. People want to see them kick ass, dude. They don't want to see them like have a control seg. It popped me, this past weekend, everyone was so thrilled by Malachi's hot tag. And it's like, because he's been like sitting in headlocks and working people over and stuff. It's
like, bro, when you tell someone Tommy End is joining your promotion, this is what you want to see, bro. Yeah. And that there's legitimate criticisms to be had, but like the speed that he was doing it, or it's like the instances that he was like obviously like wincing a little bit. But it's just like, if you can do this, even if it's at the half speed that you were doing it in 2017, then do it, bro. Because this is what your fans want to see. They don't want to see. They don't want to see fucking headlock.
It's the same for Buddy too, right? Yeah. Buddy's the same. He had a killer hot tag in that match before they did the injury thing, which I know is like a Buddy Matthews spot at this point. It's like one of his go-to moves.
I don't know what they're cooking with that, bro. I don't know what they're cooking with that.
I don't know either, because like, he's the one of the group. I mean, I like Buddy a lot, but he's the one of the group who will get the least reaction for a big return soon, right? Yeah. So I don't know. Maybe he's just taking some time. I'm not sure. We shall see on the Collision review that does not currently exist, as far as I know. We shall see. We'll discuss that then, maybe. Quick question. So Roddy got pinned by Orange here, and the finish was that he like kind of inadvertently wiped out Kyle.
Yeah.
Where do we think the Kyle and Roddy thing is going? Because I'm starting to wonder if they're actually going to be a babyface team, to be honest. And the reason I say this, if they get together as a heel team, that makes the Kingdom even more redundant. What would even be the point of the Kingdom?
Yeah.
Right? If they were babyfaces, they could work with the Kingdom. In fact, if you want a cool match for Death Before Dishonor, that could be a cool match for Death Before Dishonor, right? Because that's going to need some matches here soon. The Kingdom, I believe, are still the champs.
The Kingdom are the champs.
They are.
Yeah.
They're carting around with the belts, so I'd assume.
They don't wrestle on TV. It's like, I don't know. Where do you think? Does anyone have any idea on where the Roddy Kyle thing's going? Because I honestly have no clue.
I have no clue where this is going. I've had some ideas earlier, but I feel like those have kind of like are clearly not happening at this point. Maybe they are turning babyface. I think Kyle and Roddy would be a great babyface tag team to have in AEW. That would be a match that people want to see against the Bucks. That'd be a good team to take the belts off the Kingdom, and people could be excited about the ROH tag division again. I like the Kingdom, but like AEW's not doing them any favors with their booking right now. Part of it's just like how many teams do they really want to see the Kingdom beat? I guess it was what they're doing. That's how you end up with the infantry on pay-per-view. Like it just is what it is, bro. Unfortunately. So I think you should put them together, turn a babyface, start coming out to End of Heartache. Everybody's happy. Disband Undisputed Kingdom. Never do anything undisputed in AEW ever again. And
it's just I'm kind of tired. This isn't even an AEW problem. Actually, I think WWE does this just as much. Probably more, in fact, because it's one of Triple H's plays. Is like I hate the trope of like good guy turns to dark side after being a fucking loser. Like it happens so much in wrestling. Kyle O'Reilly has just come back as this sort of like quirky, just kind of weird, lovable, somewhat human character on a wrestling show. Yeah. And the idea that like he just loses a few matches, like, oh fuck this, I'm gonna just go and be
I'm evil now, guys, and I'm joining a gang. Like, no, bro.
Use it as a
no one wants to see his heel.
Yeah, but people want to cheer for Kyle.
Like when Kyle returned, he got a massive pop from it. Like when people realized who he actually was. Like,
and if we're FTR out, like seriously, I don't know how long FTR are gonna be out. That's a fucking great team to put in their slot, right?
They need a workhorse babyface team. Yeah,
they could have them Collision 20-minute matches. If you put them in that spot, the show's just like this right there. That's perfect.
I'd be seated every week. Exactly. I would be there.
I don't know if it's where they're going, but I really do. I do think there's something to it. But,
if it's not, if somebody at AEW is listening, run that up to TK, man. This is a great idea that we're cooking over here.
We know somebody's listening.
Someone's listening.
Someone's listening. We know you're getting your workout in and just listening to us in the background. Run out to TK for us.
I'll see you at TV next week, all right?
I just want to see Kyle O'Reilly like in solid storylines. Like I really love what he's got going on right now, but like there's also that thing of he's just kind of in Orange Cassidy's orbit because of like, let's be real, like Kyle O'Reilly isn't the main player in like whatever's going on with Orange Cassidy right now. He is just oh shit, we needed people for OC to team with. Here's some cool people for him to be able to do it with. But Kyle O'Reilly, he's such a dynamic wrestler, and he's like, I love him as a singles wrestler, but as a tag team, he's a fucking incredible wrestler.
Yeah, absolutely.
And like, if Mark Briscoe hadn't like explicitly said, I don't want to do tag team wrestling anymore since Jay passed away, I would have said team them together because I think that could have been something proper special. But like, if that's not what Mark wants to do, that is absolutely understandable, and you've got to respect that. So just team him with Roddy again, man. We know they're a good tag team. Like,
unbelievable team. They were. I'm not even doing like a bit about Bobby Fish because I liked Red Dragon, but like they were immediately better than Red Dragon. Like it was a real thing. We knew it then. Like it was a talking point then. It's so yeah, that would be fun for sure. Up next, we had a Mercedes Moné video package building the Forbidden Door match for Stephanie Verkeer. Nothing much on this. It was a video to sell the match, which is fine, right? You keep these things ticking over. We're all very excited for the match, as we've said. Interesting little deal here that I say interesting to be polite. I have some concerns. Roosh being met by Don Callis, and I kind of went, I'm really torn on it because on one hand, I'm glad there's a follow-up for Roosh and he's going to do stuff on TV because Don will certainly get you on TV. No question. He gets himself on TV. I don't know if I like that pairing, just on instinct. I haven't seen it, obviously, in action yet, but I don't know, Chuck, you seem as equally concerned.
I have two major concerns with this. One, Roosh as a loose cannon that has no one controlling him is the best way for him to be booked in AEW. I don't need to see him in another faction. Two, it kind of feels like they're just kind of slotting him in because of Takeshita's going to do the G1 and they need another heel to put into this group to take his place while Takeshita's away from TV. And that's not fair on Rouge, because as soon as Takeshita comes back, he's then just like, almost a side piece. Not the correct phrasing. Afterthought is what I'm going for in that faction. But yeah, I don't know. Like, obviously, we might be wrong about it in like 3 months' time, and it might be an incredible slot for him to have because if he'll be getting the TV time and whatever. But right now, I'm not too high on the idea. I'm not excited about this fall.
Yeah, I'm not sure about this one. What do you make of this as a potential direction?
I regret to inform my fellow podcasters that I'm not immediately against this.
Good.
I think the Don Callis family stuff, it started off really bad at first, right? Like Don Callis, I don't know if he was doing it on purpose or not, but it seems like a faction of people that we really like that are just there to get Don over. And that has not really been the case for a while now. Really, like he's like obviously he's still like the pro like talking, but like the wrestlers are at the forefront of this faction now. And I feel like they're doing good work. They don't win a whole lot, which is pretty much the issue now. We want to see Takeshita winning. So that's the main issue with the Don Callis family right now. So I feel like if they stay in this groove and Don just gets Rush, not even gets him over as a killer, because the fans already see him as a killer, but just like presents Rush as the killer that he is, I feel this could be something really good. I could be wrong.
That's
be wrong.
enough.
I'm not automatically against this.
That's fair enough. I think we're all, the idea of him wrestling Takeshita is very enticing. However you got to that, right? So that sounds.
I just worry about the timing of it.
Yeah, I get you completely. I guess we'll see. The thing is, we'll see. But I guess the positive is, regardless of what you think of the direction, they're following up with Rush. He's actually going to be doing stuff. Because how many times has Rush had a great match with a star, and then it's like,
and just like, all right, bro, see you in 2 months.
Right.
Yeah.
So I'm glad that he's being factored in. All right. Speaking of factored in, the Acclaimed. Back in the win column here, opposite our EVPs, the Young Bucks. Now, before we get to the match, Okada here had some business.
The biggest babyface in the business.
Yeah, the announce team like legitimately popped for it, where he stopped their music and he played his new hit that's emerged that they've made a hilarious shirt from. By hilarious, I mean imagine fucking wearing it. But God bless them, they've made it, right? I mean, it is what it is. Then the match started, and honestly, I thought it took him a while to get going, but I've got to be honest, I'm not a big Acclaim fan. The people got with this, and by the finish, they actually like sincerely popped for the finish. They were very much with it. Because we have to be real, we have our issues with Acclaim, but recently there's been a couple of TVs where it ain't just folks online. Like, there's been like on Collision when Max was talking, the crowd did not sound exactly thrilled by the content. So it was, I think, a feat here to get them back rocking like this for the finish. I wasn't surprised by the outcome personally. I thought it was a pretty good match. What did you make of the Bucks versus the Acclaimed?
I thought it was a pretty good match. It was the I told Monty this was the best Acclaim match that I remember seeing in a while. I was like, just go things. And Monty almost had a heart attack. But like, whether you thought it was like, what do you thought the match was just like mid or whatever? Like, what's a Acclaim match in recent history that's better than this one? Like, I'm done with Max Caster pretty much. Anthony Barnes, I think could be a real player in the wrestling industry eventually. But I got into this as well. I wasn't excited about it. I knew the Bucks were gonna lose because I was just like, this is where the booking is going. I'm kind of scared of where the booking is going to continue to go. I don't think that the Bucks are going to drop their titles to them, but kind of scared about how long this feud is going to go.
Yeah.
I don't really want this to bleed into blood and guts. I don't want this to be on Forbidden Door. I think they're going to do both, sadly. So that would be really unfortunate. There's some really cool things you could do with the baby faces on Blood and Guts with FTR being out. You could throw Mark Briscoe in there. You could throw Danny Garcia in there. And just like, I have no issue with Max Caster again. I'm not Max. Anthony Bones getting that big spot, but like, bro, like, do we really want to see fucking daddy ass at ringside, bro, and fucking Max Caster in the ring? Like, no, bro, not at all. So, it was a pretty good match. I don't really care that my goats were pinned. I saw it coming, but I'm kind of scared where this is going down the line.
Yeah, because as you said, I don't think either of us was surprised by that, right? You mentioned that. So that was what it was. The Yeah, there's a lot of options, blood and guts. I think that would be a mistake. It was noticeable. It's been brought up in the chat, and I think rightly so. This match was like all about Anthony Bowens. We've been it's been circled a lot by hardcore fans. Like Bowens is the guy that may break out, may be able to have a singles run, so on and so forth. But the match was like actively designed to make him look awesome here, and I thought he did a really good job of it. I thought he made the most of it. So, I liked this choke. What did you make of it?
Yeah, I'm pretty much like in the same boat as AO. Like, I wasn't surprised by the outcome to when I actually thought the match ended up being pretty good. But if this had happened like a year ago, I would have been so much more up for it because of like the Acclaimed had so much momentum a year ago. It would have meant a lot more. But I'm really out on Max Caster. I just don't really care about him doing anything in AEW at the moment. Glad that Anthony Bowens looked good in this, I just don't see the need like for the feud really, like them like dragging this out like as long as it appears it's going to be dragged out. But I guess that's kind of the issue with like running this elite storyline with them also having the tag belts, because of it comes to a thing of, well, they can't have the belts for ages and never defend them, so they've got to do something to like do it. And I guess it makes sense to do it against a team that's involved themselves in elite business, because they keep coming out to like they were coming out to save Swerve and whoever like the elite were trying to attack and whatever. I don't know, man. I don't know. It's just like the match was pretty good and it was what I was expected. I just don't know that I'm all that excited that I see Acclaimed in this role, to be honest. Like, there's other tag teams that I would be much more excited to see in this role.
Yeah. And I understand it, like, it does make some sense with the EVP gimmick and such, but this was also, I thought, a pretty extreme usage of the Eliminator thing. Like, if it's a guy who's totally without wins in AEW, I get it. Like, you know, in theory, and again, I understand the EVP gimmick gives them an out in this regard. But like, the Acclaim should not, it should be pretty easy for them to get a tag title shot. There's like 4 tag teams, and they're one of the most decorated teams. Like, and again, I get it in this case, but I do find that starts to be a little tough sometimes, because the reality is it just means we're going to get 2 of these matches, which is fine. We all like the match, no big deal. But I also don't think it was at a level where it's like, oh my God, so I can't wait for that rematch where they have 5 minutes longer, right? It's like, it was a good match. I'm sure it will be again, but no big deal. The crowd liked it. And it went quite well, I thought. So we'll see kind of when the rematch happens, what the follow-up is. It appears we have some wonderful super chats, brother. Take it away.
We do. Bro, $5 super chat. For the Brits who have seen him for years, Osprey wasn't always talking like this, right? He cut that Wrestle Kingdom promo on Kenny, and now he's money on the mic.
Brother, even after that Wrestle Kingdom promo, you see him at any show in the UK, 8-minute promos chatting shit after a show. National TV, he has nailed it, because like if you saw like the promos he cut after fucking like Copper Box last year at the 11th anniversary show, like they were building to the Jericho attack. He was chatting for like 8 minutes. And then Jericho came out. I was just like, the show ended. Like, we have not seen any wrestling for the past 20 minutes. Why are you still talking? Even at fucking, what was it show in October? Royal Quest, when, like, Shota Umino came out, he had still just been yapping and yapping. I'm just like, I want to go drink. I want to go to the pub. Why am I still here? Like, but no, National TV Osprey, very great setting for him. He has really upped his promo game. Cannot fault it. But my God, do not catch him at a live show that's not being taped, because he's not shut up.
I actually thought he's done pretty well. So I didn't watch either of those promos, and I don't watch Brit Rest promos, right? But like I thought he's been doing a pretty good job with his promos for like the last 3 or so years. Like since he's like the Mox feud that he had starting in 2021 or 2022. Like I thought he started kicking ass in promos. Like I thought he went from like someone who's just like he went from complete like shit, just dog shit, to passable to someone who's pretty good. And I didn't think wrestling fans really caught up on that sentiment yet, because like once you catch a label like in the internet wrestling community, it sticks with you until there's like a drastic turn. And I think the Kenny Omega promo that went viral at Wrestle Kingdom for the Wrestle Kingdom presser was like the turn that people were ready to be like, okay, Like Osprey had something on the mic there, and then they were willing to give him a chance after that, and then he comes on national TV and he starts delivering.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think the freedom of being in New Japan as a promo is huge, right? We've seen it a million times over. We reached it with Jack, and I always think back to AJ as in Bullet Club. Do you remember the personality that suddenly came out of him when he just had no? And it followed him even to the scripted environment of WWE. You still saw there was a confidence there. Ultimately, dude, if you finish every match and walk in front of the press and have to talk, you have really no choice but to find yourself, right?
Yeah.
And I think Will has found himself, but Chuck is right in the sense that even with that, he's like prolific as a promo. It's not like he's just doing good promo. He may be their most effective promo guy.
Yeah.
Like it has been incredible, genuinely.
Yeah.
Like Ibu said that he had like a Cody like quality to his promos, and like that's like high praise from Ibu.
It's the ultimate.
You know how he feels about Cody. You can't say the things he wants to do to Cody live on there, bro. He'll take us off the airways. I do think that like he does get like that, just that pure like baby face reaction from the crowds that AEW's been missing for a while, bro.
Yeah.
Since Kenny was like actively there all the time.
Yeah.
He seems happy to be there. That's a big part of it. People like seeing someone excited. Yeah, it's fun.
He wants to be the AEW guy, bro, and fans appreciate that.
Absolutely.
Like they don't want to be on top just to like prove that they could be a main eventer and then like go back to WWE, bro. Because the fans can smell that on you. They can smell it on you, Miro. DJ Lee, $5 super chat. First time, long time. Joe, may your break be nice and pleasant on the mind, and thank all of you guys for holding it down. We appreciate you, man. We hope you keep listening. Appreciate you. Chicken Owl, $2 super chat. Hope Mark wins TNT at Forbidden Door. Is Joe Hendry even good? No, Joe Hendry is not good.
Oh my god.
I will say though. Oh, go ahead, Chuck. Go ahead.
I understand why there has been WCPW nostalgia on the timeline the last 48 hours, because of a lot of people just remember the good stuff. There was so much shit, especially in the latter years. And if like, as someone that was like actively keeping up with that promotion, I don't understand. Like, I don't get the nostalgia for it. But good on Joe Hendry, man. He is doing the same gimmick he did in 2016, and he has gotten it over with 2024 crowds. Much respect for that.
That was awesome. Chuck said, let me just explain. I don't think that What Culture Pro Wrestling was all that good.
It's been on my mind.
I love the idea that there's anyone watching this like, wait, it wasn't some sort of incredible wrestling program. I didn't see any of it. But,
What Culture Pro Wrestling is one of those things that like so like they did a lot of cool things, but their borderline level of show that they put on was not good. So what I'll say about Joe Hendry is, I don't think he's any good. I don't think he can wrestle. I don't think he can promo. But he's gotten himself over huge. Is it for the same thing that I saw him doing 8 years ago? Yes. But, you know, I'll always respect a worker for finding something that works for them and getting the marks to get behind them, bro. Like, that's what all this is all about, brother. Not everybody could be Will Ospreay in the ring, bro. Not everybody could be AJ Styles. Not everybody could be Kenny Omega. Find something that works. But I'll also say there's a reason why this worked 8 years ago, and then people stopped caring because that bell had to ring, brother. That bell had to ring.
Bro, that clip of like the pop he got at NXT, I was just
it was insane.
You gotta be happy for him. Like,
it was insane.
I'm absolutely delighted for him, but it blows my mind.
It doesn't do a lot anything for me, to be honest. The act, I don't even really get like the humor. It doesn't pop me. That's fine, but
the theme song just gets stuck in my head.
It does pop me to just see someone actually pull off what he's putting. Like it was a big deal on Tuesday. Right. That's fucking insane. I don't know how, but it was. So God bless. Good for him.
Chi-Town Spurs, $5 super chat. We appreciate you. Best acclaim match since the last time they faced the Bucks. Hey man, when you talk about the goat of all goats, many such instances. Many people's last match was the best match since the last time they faced the Bucks. Bro,
Sure.
$2 super chat. Swerve, DG, MJF, and Osprey seem like the blood and guts team. I don't think that's where
I think you're
with it.
1 for 4 there.
Yeah,
And I think
I would like to see that, but I think Swerve's the only one that's actually involved on the baby.
I want Danny to be in there, but they've clearly moved away from that. So
I get why he's thinking that though, because they did that.
Oh
angle
yeah,
with-
they did that angle,
But-
and just I don't
I don't think that's
know,
what that
bro.
was
I don't-
for.
Yeah,
I think that was for matches
the
that are coming up.
international title. Yeah, they want to make sure you guys remember. Hey, DG's getting this title match against Osprey, and then also, when Max came out, like he talked shit about a bunch of the people that have emerged as top guys since he's been gone, but he really zeroed in on Osprey. So I think that's why they were paying that off and like letting you guys know a match is coming down the line.
My goodness.
He had really strong feelings about that Forbidden Door match.
He was in the midst of
Just drop the mic.
All right, he's
The
back.
lip-
He's back.
The lips try to silence me. The lips try to
Again?
silence me, but I'm back. I'm back, folks. Oh, Shot Times first $1 super chat. Appreciate you, bro. Apparently, Atlantis Jr. called out Fletcher for the ROH TV title in Mexico. I want to see that. That
That's
sounds
quite
great.
sick,
Oh,
actually.
that's pretty cool.
Honestly,
Poor
I'm
lady.
well happy for Fletcher, man. Like,
That's cool.
Poor Atlantis Jr., bro, comes to
Oh.
AEW TV, and he has fucking Chris Jericho, 500 pounds, taking his monkey flips.
That was a rough night at the office. That was
Rough,
that
bro.
was
Rough.
brutal. We've reviewed that. It's brutal.
Christian Ramos, $2 super chat. AEW needs Grizzly Young Vets, Motor City Machine Guns. Eminem. I don't know about that last one, brother. Any teams who are free. I think we're 2 for 3 there. I'm not the biggest Grizzly Young Vets guy, but they are a good tag team.
Good team,
And I think that they would be serviceable in AEW. Maximum Male Models, bro.
I haven't seen
You
a
know-
single match since they left the Fed. I can't lie.
They seem like nice guys, but I don't need them in my
Yeah.
wrestling promotion that I love. Honest Assaulting $2 super chat. Scenes of Swerve Billy like Uncle Howdy backstage. Hey man, shout out to Bo Dallas. Mazfane 84 $2 super chat. Okada Ultimo Guerrero is inspired booking. I agree, bro. That's the type of shit that AEW was built on. Like just doing some wild.
That's
like,
real
shit that you
Forbidden
never
Door
seen, no,
booking,
yeah.
that.
Yeah. Just do weird shit.
It's like when they randomly did Tanahashi versus Swerve last year. I was just like, oh shit, this is real.
Like that's
Forbidden
never a
Door
match
stuff.
that you were like, yo, I need to see this. But once it's announced, you're like, oh my god.
Yeah. Yeah.
Haven't they got
always for
history
that
as well? Because of Okada did stuff in CMLL way back when.
Yeah,
red hair.
he did stuff in CMLL way back when, and he went there to train when he was a kid.
Yes.
There you go.
I know my
Collision
law.
this weekend. All right,
Sure.
backstage. Samoa Joe and Hook continuing to sort of audition for this buddy cop picture that Joe has apparently got going in his head. He's having a good time with it. It's pretty fun to watch him. He's
having a lot of
himself.
fun. He's having a lot of fun.
I saw someone on my timeline was like, "Why have they got Joe doing this?" And it's like, bro, I mean, it's pretty obvious. This has got Joe all over it. Look how happy he is doing this shit.
Mhm.
Bro, Samoa Joe is not someone who's like, you tell him what to do, and then he like makes it seem like he's the most enthusiastic, even though he thinks it's dog shit. Like if Joe hates something, it's pretty clear that he hates what he's doing.
Yeah,
bro. He doesn't hide it.
Yeah, he's having a blast for this, and I think what he's trying to do is bring personality at Hook, and I think you're already seeing some positives from that. He's not a natural, but he's almost has to have personality because Joe is such a strong.
Because Joe's bringing it.
Yeah, so it's fun. It popped me huge. The actual funniest thing in that segment was the idea that premier athletes have their own locker room.
Indeed.
Which they were not in and left a note in. And I don't even know why they still wanted to beat Premier. That makes it even funnier. Like,
I don't know.
even. But
I don't understand the feud, but I'm having fun. So
Could you imagine a universe where they're renting out arenas every week and they're just like, what are we gonna do with Sting's old locker room? Oh fuck it, give it to Tony Nese and Arya Davari. I don't know what to do with it. Give it to them.
Did we ever find out where Josh Woods was, or is this just
No.
something that we still don't know?
Well, he has to be back for Collision. He must be back for Collision because they're doing a 6-man on Saturday. So because that was the
Woods
conclusion
is
here.
back.
Right? Yeah, because Shibata, I think, was like, Joe asked if he was in. I believe was what they did here. I forget, folks. A lot's gone on, but I think that's what happened.
Do we really believe that Shibata's here while these segments are going on?
Not all of
I
them.
don't. There was one where he definitely wasn't.
Yeah.
But like
I don't
AEW
think he
is
was
also
this week either.
AEW is fucking insane. So the idea that Tony would occasionally fly into TV to do that gimmick is like entirely believable to me.
Right.
Like, absolutely.
Yes.
But that's a 6-man. That'll be fun, I guess. I think that's on Collision. I could be wrong on that, folks. But I don't think we need to really go over this much because we've all been pretty positive on this Hook dynamic, right? Like it's fun.
Yeah.
It's fun.
Yeah, it's been a lot of fun.
Indeed.
It's going well and it's giving Hook some life after the damage that was done, and we'll leave it at that. All right. Mina and Tony in ring live segment. Mariah May, of course, also as the mediator here. Mina Shirakawa just lighting Tony up on the microphone. Legitimately appeared to like stun for a bit, which was very funny. I don't know if Tony was just doing that to get over her opponent, but like she sold me if she was. And then, of course, this took a dramatic sudden turn. Someone began to yell, and I was like, "Is that Mariah?" And it was not Mariah. Saraya arrived.
It was the other bird.
With Harley Cameron alongside her, and then they did this this wild Anna Jay run-in, and the announcers are like, "It's Anna Jay." Why? she's beating them up, and then they turned it around on them. Tony Storm destroyed the table that was used for the contract signing in hilarious fashion. I don't really fully know I don't quite know what the game plan is with this Saraya group, but it seems like they're going to be a group.
2.0.
Right, because Chuck, it did feel that way, right? They're going to be an actual faction in the division. Now, what did you make of this?
I thought the contract signing was good. I don't know that it needed to be a contract signing. I feel like they did it like this because they wanted them to have like just on-screen mic time together. But I was like, kind of felt like a waste of a contract signing. They could have just kind of done a face-to-face, I guess. But I don't know, it wasn't like the worst thing in the world, especially with the angle after. I always have fear when Saraya is involved in the world title scene because I just get flashbacks to Wembley Stadium last year. But I don't know, it wasn't the worst thing in the world, especially if they're building to like a 6-woman tag, like on the road to Forbidden Door. I'm not going to lie, when she said I brought back up, I was just like, oh shit, are we going to see another Stardom talent? Like who have they flown in? And then it was Anna Jay. I was just like, I guess she's done stuff on TV. She's had matches semi-recently. There was probably a connection somewhere that I'm forgetting because I watch a lot of wrestling, but I don't know, it was pretty all inoffensive. And more women's feuds that don't necessarily involve the title is always a good thing. So I didn't hate it. That's my roundabout way of saying that. We
saw in the Owen bracket that Saraya and Mariah are indeed going to have that rematch that we expected. We all kind of penciled that in. So I don't know. I could see you being really fired up about this new faction, brother.
So I'm not. That's not.
Anna was Mina's first AEW opponent. That makes sense. Yeah.
There you go.
So I'm not fired up about this new faction. However, I'm not completely against it. I just don't think they needed to be in this segment. I can't put over Mina enough. I don't want AEW to go poaching talent or poaching quote unquote talent from the people that they're partnered with, but Mina Shirakawa is a TV star. She's sorry to let you guys know. Yeah. She is a TV wrestler. She will be getting a contract. If it's not from AEW, it's from WWE. You guys are just gonna have to like deal with that right now. Like I'm not like she's not even my favorite wrestler from Stardom. I love Mina, but she's not my favorite wrestler from Stardom. But I think at this point she's the most TV ready. And she's gonna be all elite sooner or later, and if not all elite, she's going to Stanford. So I think we should get used to seeing her on AEW television for the very soon. She killed it here. I think she came off even better than Tony in this segment.
Mhm.
When she said the fans want Mina, bro, she said we want Mina, and the fans erupted. They want Mina.
Yeah.
We might be looking at a title switch on the 30th, Chuck. I don't know. We're not looking at a title switch, but it seems like the fans are like really getting behind Mina though.
Oh, yeah,
and,
absolutely.
they'll be really hot during the match. And Tony's decided to put her working shoes on while doing the timeless Tony gimmick nowadays. So we should be getting a really inspired show. And I'm excited, man. I'm excited for this match.
I am too. I think they've done a really good job of building this match. Like I've spoken about this with a couple of people. I think like the women's matches have had the most cohesive builds going into Forbidden Door. Like a lot of the men's matches, it's either very AEW heavy, so they've been able to build that on TV, or they're just kind of throwing them together, sort of thing. Which isn't the worst thing in the world. It's Forbidden Door season. You've got to work around who can be there for TVs and who can't, sort of thing. But the women's matches like have been built so cohesively, and like Mina and Tony have killed it. I think that they've done a really good job of selling this as a women's world title match for Forbidden Door. So I'm really excited for it. And as you said, Mina is a TV star. She is going to be a full-time American TV wrestler within the next 12 months, whether it be in Jacksonville or Stanford. We will see what happens. But I don't know, man. I'm really happy for them that they've gotten the spot that they have, and they've been able to do what they have with the TV time as well.
And with this feud, I'm not gonna say like it's the greatest feud ever, but like with this feud, right? You see like these like 40-year-old white Brit men, and they're just like, oh, this I don't like this at all. Like this sucks. Like this is just like shit. He was like, bro, but do you see like how much like the 16-year-old queer kids love this shit? Have you seen how much like the women love this shit? Like, not everything has to be for you. You know what I mean? Like, not everything's for me, but I understand. Just because I'm not like the target for, I'm not gonna call it bad because it's not bad. It's just not for me. But I'm not. But I do like this though. But I'm just saying for those people that are shitting on this feud,
it's been good TV. Genuinely.
Yeah,
I like it. I'm with you. And I think they've done a good job of like actually getting Mina's personality across, right? Like I think they've done a great job with that. I agree completely. Thanks for the team effort there, squad. I appreciate it. Chaos. England played earlier. Chuck knows it's chaos. Right,
you were like, stall for time. I was just like, great, I can yap.
Yeah, I knew I had a good lineup for that. You know, it was if I was on the air with Bob O'Neill, I'd have just ended the stream. We're off. We're finished, folks. All right, Chris Statlander, Nyla Rose up next.
Oh, did they reveal the brackets before this match?
I believe it was before this match because they did the Claudio video package, and then we got the winner of this is facing Willow. The winner, who's Willow working? I apologize, I forget.
Serena Deeb at the Rampage table.
At Rampage, yes. So we're almost certainly getting Chris and Willow in the semi, right? Is the most like, which I'm not surprised the semi-final because I think we all believe Mariah's winning the tournament, right? So probably Mariah over Chris in the final, probably.
Yeah, that's the conclusion I've come to. I honestly like. I did a whole tweet. I was just like, this is my bracket breakdown for each of these brackets. I would have had Stokely cost Willow in her match against Deeb because I don't think it really would have hurt Willow, but it adds more fuel to the fire for the eventual rematch between Stat and Willow. I wouldn't have gone to that match straight away if that is the match that comes out. I haven't actually seen the Rampage spoilers because I know people were talking about them on the timeline earlier. But that's what I would have done personally, whether they've done that or not.
I actually really like that. I didn't even think that being an option, but I actually really like that idea.
Yeah, it works. I think either way, Chris is advancing. So yeah, I don't know.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And like this feud is something. It feels like they can't like just. It's not gonna. Even if that is like the semi-final match, it's not gonna be the last match they have. Not in this like next couple of months of AEW. It feels like their burn off is either going to be a match at All In or a match at All Out, and I'm leaning more towards All Out because of. All In, are they going to do more than 2 women's matches? Probably not, sort of thing. Like, unfortunately, I would love to see that match on All In. Just so we're clear on that, I would prefer it to be on All In. But they need to build stuff for All Out as well. And it's like, if you can start building shit early, and this is a feud that you can sustain, do it, man. Like, we don't see enough of that in the women's division. So I would have had Deeb progress here, and I haven't seen Deeb wrestle Stat in fucking God knows how long, so I would have been up for that.
For sure. I will say, too, you mentioned things we don't see enough. Dude, Every time I see Nyla, it pops me and get a TV
Yes.
spot.
Yeah.
Yes.
And I
I want her to
killed
have
it
a
here.
feud with Tony. I think they could have such a good feud.
I
do
think
too.
it'd be
Even if it's
very,
just a
very
TV
fun.
feud, like
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm with you. I like this match a lot, and it's
So
great to see
good.
Nyla get a great reaction. I always came off very well. What did you make of Chris and Nyla?
I like this a lot. I think Chris Statlander is one of the best in the world. Nyla Rose has gotten better and better and better since we first seen her in 2019. I really enjoy her babyface work. Like,
Yeah.
I think it got to the point where like keeping her heel was just kind of forced, and it was just like, well, she's a hoss. We don't really want to turn like one of our only hosses in the division, babyface. But now that we got Chris Statlander out here killing people, it's like fuck it, bro.
Oh, yes.
That babyface Nyla on TV.
Yeah. She's
That'll
much personality.
yeah, so much personality that she never really got to show on TV.
Yeah.
Like she kind of just like just roared kind of for a while.
Yeah.
And, like didn't really like just roared. But that pop that she got last night really made me smile. She deserved that. They were in Northern Virginia. She's from DC, born and raised, so she was somewhat hometown thing going on there. I hope she gets featured more. She could be a very useful asset to the TV rotation, especially with two 2-hour shows every week now. Like why not? Why isn't she on Collision more?
She hasn't been like actually truly in the TV rotation for a really long time.
For a long time, bro. Like she would even when she got brought onto TV, she'll lose and then she'll lose and then she'll just go back to Honor Club.
Yeah, I'm with you completely. Chuck, what did you make of the match?
I really enjoyed this match. Like, this match has happened before, right? Like Stat and Nyla have wrestled before, like, and they had good chemistry then. They had good chemistry now. This was a really good TV match. I need to go back and watch it again because I was like kind of doing my bracket breakdown at the same time. But no, honestly, these two great competitors. Stat is killing it as a heel. Like, she hasn't really had to adjust her moveset at all because like because like there's some babyface wrestlers, they wrestle in a very babyface way, but like it's made me realize this heel done. She had a very neutral moveset.
She's just
and like it really exactly. Like she's just a horse in the ring. And it's like but it's really working for her as a heel as well. Like she's fucking killing it. And I'm excited, man. I say it every week. People are going to get sick of it, but she does not get enough credit for how good of a wrestler she is.
I agree, and I like the presentation a lot too. I really do. I think they're doing a hell of a job. So yeah, thumbs up completely in that regard. We will swiftly move past the brief learning tree promo segment.
Instead of talking about that, I don't want to talk about Chris Jericho. Let's talk about the fact that they are doing Bryan Danielson versus Shingo Takagi because
that could be pretty good.
God,
right? That should be a pretty good match.
When they put that bracket on screen, I was just like, oh my God, they're actually doing the match.
Well, Shingo, he stressed the dragon thing so much when he announced the tournament. I was kind of like, because last year there was a Owen match on the pay-per-view, right? We got, and that was where they did the New Japan representation then. So I kind of looked at him and was like, probably, we don't want to assume because, you set yourself up for disappointment. But I mean, it's going to be unbelievable. I think it's pretty apparent the Dragon's going to have some Dragon's probably going to have 3 classic matches in the Owen, if we're being real. If you're looking at the bracket, that'll be the first of them. It may be the best match of the entire tournament. If we're being real.
Bryan Danielson going to win Wrestler of the Year on his last year?
I mean,
full-time wrestler.
It's one of those deals where, like, off the top of my head, it seems likely. But if I actually sat down and looked at every good match he's had, it'd probably be easily so. If you actually think about, because some of those collisions, dude, where it's like he just churns out a 4-star match just to pop himself.
I think you could ignore everything that Bryan's done in AEW so far this year and just look at the Zack Sabre Jr. match in Japan, and he is Wrestler of the Year.
He's incredible.
Thinking back to the reactions we had to that match on that watch along,
yeah, you're right. And you look at what he's done on pay-per-view and on those random TVs. He was at the Tokyo Dome in January, the Zack Sabre Jr. match you just mentioned. The business in CMLL. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, you wrestled Blue Panther and they had the 8-man tag,
To answer your question, probably. Yeah, it's very much possible. Especially if you can stay healthy, especially.
Yeah. To get back to Shingo though, this is everything that I wanted in the New Japan AEW partnership when he finally got into swing. Shingo Takagi getting big matches, bro. Like, he's been calling out Bryan Danielson for the last 2 years. He's been calling out Kenny and Danielson for like the last 2.5 years. Never got the big AEW match that we've been looking for. Like, you got the Eddie match in the G1 and stuff, and that was great. But like, this is what I wanted, bro. Shingo in America, wrestling a superstar, and we finally got it.
Yeah, I agree completely.
This was I literally pitched this match last Wednesday before Dynamite came live, and then he declared himself for the owner. I was just like, they're gonna do the match. Yeah. I had been sat on that for a week before they confirmed it on TV.
And of course, in true AEW fashion, they announced this in the middle of the main event. They went, "Oh, and by the way."
Yeah, by the
way. No, like they threw it up on the back, and it's just like, yep, it's happening at Forbidden Door, and I literally jumped out of my chair. I was just, I'm going to see this live.
Let me be clear. I'd say that lovingly because that just pops me about the AEW business, you know, like it's...
and fucking Brian being on commentary and his reaction to, what a funny man.
It was awesome.
King of the North in chat says Shingo got a tag with Sting, so there's that. And yeah, tagging with Sting's a huge honor, but
that was
fucking dog shit match. What a god awful match.
No, I think you're thinking of the wrong one.
No,
you're
I'm thinking of the Naito tag. No. Dudes with attitudes versus Bullet Club. That was awesome. Yo, no, that kicked ass. That kicked ass. I'm sorry.
Yeah, that match was awesome. The next one was
Shingo Darby and Sting. Yeah, that rocked.
Yeah, the Naito one was.
Yeah, that was
my favorite for Forbidden Door last year.
It was very unfortunate.
Unfortunate to admit, but I did not want to sit through that.
It happens. You need to pick your spots. Daniel Garcia. I popped myself last night on Twitter because I said he must have looked at where he was at on the run sheet. And just direct clash with Kendrick Steele. I felt terrible. As soon as I saw it, I was like, oh, he must be mad as hell. So here he was. He got himself a nice win over Rhett Titus, who did the now customary comedy spot of the guy who's putting over Daniel Garcia where you do his dance badly. This is like a thing you have to do as the heel putting him over. So Rhett did that. DG got a win. That was more a backdrop to the post-match here because that's just more of the same for Garcia post-match. Gates of Agony started beating the hell out of Daddy Magic.
They sure did.
Daddy Magic has this deal where he's like a 20-year wrestler, but if he gets beat up, you can absolutely convince yourself he's never had a fight. I mean that as a compliment. Like, it's like, shit, not Daddy Magic. You got to leave him alone.
Leave the commentary guy alone. It's like,
He's completely defenseless in there.
Yeah, and he's getting beat up. They start putting the boots to Garcia, and MJF makes the big time save. Got a great reaction. This, of course, made sense because the Hechicero deal. And then as they turn the tide on Max, who took a nice little comeback on all four guys, they turn the tide on him, and out comes Will Ospreay, who it was explained afterwards he simply was there to save Garcia because there's a respect deal with Garcia, right? He kind of has acknowledged Garcia. He thinks he's cool. He thinks he understands what he's going for. He just don't think he's going to beat him in this eventual match. I don't know if we know when that's happening yet. We don't, right? Do we know when it's happening? Garcia
I'm assuming next week, but it's not been announced. They're in Buffalo next Wednesday, so.
Oh, that'd be cool. That'd be really cool.
I think
Ospreay would turn up that kind of nasty edge that you can have sometimes in that spot. Yeah. That'd be very cool. So this all really is a device to, again, reiterate that Garcia and Ospreay match, but more, I think big picture for them, it's like MJF and Ospreay back to back, boom, turn around, holy shit. And immediately my brain went
smacking us over the head with the fact that that's the all-in match.
That's exactly what I was about. That's immediately where your brain goes, right? That's Wembley. And that is, that's a huge match for Wembley, we've got to say.
It's a huge match,
the atmosphere will be big time. So I'm intrigued. What was your reaction as Max and Ospreay shared the ring there for a moment, face to face?
Good bit of business here, man. 2 stars staring off. The fans treated it as such. They really exploded when they realized they were looking at each other. Holy shit chants broke out. I really liked it. I'm happy that DG's getting a big spot against Ospreay next week. It's just kind of sucks that it's like Osprey's got so much shit going on right now. What's up, Chuck?
I forgot about this. This was announced for Dynamite next week.
Okay, Swerve and Ospreay versus the Gates. I had no idea. Gates of Agony versus Swerve and Ospreay.
It was when they do like that last minute rundown in like the last few minutes of Dynamite because they also announced Okada versus Ultimo Guerrero. That took the main spot like of everyone's memory.
But this is a match that was also announced for next week. So they're not running the DG match next week. Never mind.
Thank you, Brian. Right?
Thank you, Brian.
I assume we'll have a match of some kind.
Probably,
Hopefully,
yeah.
it isn't one of these squash matches because I'd like,
No, I don't.
I'm
get
sure
why
we'd
they
like
do
to have a
matches.
real match, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh well. Chuck, what did you make of this big post match here and the big face-to-face deal?
I enjoyed it. I thought it was really good. I don't know why, like, I've kind of anticipated Max versus Osprey being like the angle for All In now since like Max's promo. But actually seeing them in the ring together, I was just like, oh shit, these guys work in the same promotion. Like, I don't know, it was such a like because of when I like obviously Osprey's worked at AEW for a minute now, but it's such a there's still so many guys that he like has never had that sort of interaction with. I was just like, oh fuck, like this is a big deal. He is in the ring with MJF right now. This is a former world champion. Like, I don't know, it just kind of took me off guard a little bit, but I'm excited. I am excited about it because I think it's going to be really fucking cool to see what sort of build they do for this. Scared for the promos, but it is what it is. It's an MJF title match build. It's gonna be what it is. But yeah, I really enjoyed this. I like that they're not shying away from putting stars together in this position, and I'm glad that Danny was involved as well, and he is like getting that involvement with Osprey.
I actually think like it's been a few weeks, right? But I think the way they've positioned Max on the show has been very strong, actually. Like, the Roosh thing was an immediate signal of, like, we're going to get to the straight to business you want to see here. Mm-hmm. And the fact that Roosh was just his match to get a win and get going, I think is very encouraging. Because there's times in AEW history where it would have been someone a lot less interesting if we're being real.
Yeah.
So I'm pretty optimistic. I like this. Afterwards, there was a deal where it was basically explained, and then Brian Cage quite angrily confronted Will Ospreay while about 8 people held him back and was yelling and hooting and hollering.
It was a fucking incredible angle.
It was. It's very funny. And that's the match on Saturday, correct?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, there's a lot of
you see why I have to step away from. I mean, my head is exploding with this calendar I'm trying to deal with up here.
There's a lot going on right now, to be fair.
Yeah, and that's a good thing. Right?
Yeah.
That's a good thing. It's just like I'm losing the plot with it, but that'll be a cool match, no doubt. Hopefully, Cage is in full get my shit in mode.
Yeah, that's what I want.
Against Osprey, like.
Yeah,
I want to see moves.
Yeah,
that's what I'm tuning into that match for.
Absolutely.
Yep, I'm with you completely. Speaking of moves, there's some cool moves in our main event. Final Corn Super Chats, folks. We'll get to those in a moment. Main event, Claudio Castagnoli and Pac, Owen Hart tournament. They actually didn't get a ton of time here. And I have no problem with that. It wasn't as good as their Death Before Dishonor match, but I think there's something to be said for two guys that the first thing I think of when I think these two guys is they're physical freaks. You know, they can do great. Yeah. And I thought they leaned into that pretty well and basically just did like a cool move shootout for the most part. There was a crazy Euro on the outside where Claudio launched him up into the ridiculous, like a child. Dragon, I thought, had a lot in commentary. I thought they had a really nice match to close Dynamite. Chuck, what did you think?
I'm glad you called out like the match they had on Death Before Dishonor, because like when I was watching the main event last night, I was just like, this is just kind of a condensed version of what they did on that pay-per-view, which I think was the best route to take with like the timing that they had. Like they didn't try to like do like an epic opening and then rush the finish or whatever. Like they just wrestled the way that we love to see Claudio and Pac wrestle, and that is kind of the Brian Cage thing. It's just get your shit in, and they have such good chemistry anyways. Like this was never going to be a bad match no matter how they approached it. Would I have liked to have seen another longer version? Yes, absolutely. It's a great matchup. I would love to see these guys wrestle forever sort of thing. Like I will never get tired of seeing them wrestle each other. But for what it was, like they absolutely killed it. And it was the outcome I was expecting, but not quite how I was expecting it to go. I thought Pac might have got a more definitive win, but I think it plays really well into his Wembley story of him like, oh shit, he's kind of slid by Claudio. And it adds the wrinkle of, oh shit, what's Claudio now going to do on the build to All In? Like, where is he standing? Like, he seemed really pissed off after this match. I would be too. You've just spot in a tournament sort of thing. So, really good stuff coming out of this. Yeah,
they're definitely doing something. Claudio refused the handshake, walked off, and he's just kind of been acting that way generally. recently. We saw it before Anarchy in the Arena. So, yeah, I'm with you. And I think a compliment to this show is I think it's got around 10, 11 minutes. But I actually look at the rest of the show and I go, there's not a ton on this I would have cut or trimmed. And that is not always the case, right? There are sometimes things we want to get more time. We look at some of the other segments and go, well, maybe if this wasn't 10 minutes long. This show I thought was very efficient with its time, actually. What did you make of the main event?
Oh, very fun match. Very fun match. I'm happy that I think AEW's finally turned the corner where they're telling guys, it's like, look, your name that we respect in here and your name that we respect, you guys are going to wrestle each other and someone's losing. There was an issue with that for a little bit.
There was.
There was definitely an issue with that for a little bit, but I think they've turned the corner with I think it really started with the C2, where it was like, we're going to give the fans the best shows that we can, and to do that, we need stars. We need stars to wrestle stars, and somebody has to lose. Like, somebody has to do the job. Claudio has been unselfish here. He did the TV match against Swerve. He did the pack match. I'm curious what he does in Wembley, but this was a really fun match. They got this shit in. I was in love with that shooting star press into the uppercut spot. That was fire.
Yeah.
It was really, really enjoyable match. It was a good showing from these two.
Yep, absolutely. Very excited for Dragon. We assume anyway. American Dragon Brian Danielson versus Pac. That could be pretty special. I think it's fair to say. So
that is one I hope does get time.
Yeah, for sure. This was a hell of a show. Hell of a show.
Yeah.
I could tell it was a good show because Papa Holbert tuned in and informed me that he thought it was the best episode of the year, which is funny because I feel like he probably doesn't remember any other episode of the year, but says something, right? He was good, so.
You might not be wrong, to be honest.
Honestly, the way we do it, especially the year, feels like it's been going on for many years.
Yes.
I think it's the most it's the closest to a perfect show they've done in a while, I think. There were very little on this show that I looked and went, oh, get this off. I very rarely, hardly ever actually on this show. So, yeah.
Even the tournament bracket announcement for not for Forbidden Door, for the Owen and Hart Cup tournament hit the way they wanted it to because they were good brackets with good matchups. And that's the sort of thing that we want from AEW. Like, the only thing that I saw people kind of being weird about was Jeff Jarrett being in the Owen Hart Cup tournament. Listen, I am the first to criticize Jeff Jarrett. I have done on these podcasts many, many, many times. You just look at the history that he has with Owen Hart. You consider the fact he's going against the wild card that is assumably Hangman Adam Page, who is coming back as a heel. It's very easy to spin the fact that Jarrett is going to be a babyface in this match. And him and Hangman are probably going to have a really fun match that Hangman's going to absolutely decimate him in after he's done a heartfelt promo about how much Owen Hart means to him. It's easy booking to understand. Unless
I'm mistaken, I think every Owen, in terms of the men's brackets, has featured someone who worked with Owen.
Yeah.
They did, because Jeff was in it, Dustin was in it, and now Jeff Hardy, folks, sorry. Jeff Hardy was in it. And I think that's important because it's it's about humanizing. It's not just a concept, right? It's a dude.
It could have been Chris Jericho.
Good call.
Think of what it could have been.
A great note. A great note to conclude on. All right, folks, we're going to get to those super chats now. AO, take it away, mate.
Yes, sir. MazFan84. Oh wait, I think we touched on this one already.
Yep.
Adam Legend, $5 super chat. Shingo versus AR Fox and Willow versus Deeb got great reactions for being at 10:30 p.m. after a hot Dynamite. Rampage is back if this keeps up. Love to hear that. I've given up any hope.
Inspired booking.
Yeah, that's inspired booking. That definitely is. Dragon Gate USA rematch.
Yeah.
I've given up any hope on there being any type of consistency with Rampage. But sometimes you get these cards and you're just like, I gotta tune into this. I tune into this. Willie, $5 super chat. How many non-AEW talent go over at Forbidden Door? Would be a little lame if it's just Naito. I think a CMLL worker should go over for credibility purposes. I think you definitely have to do something with Mystico.
Mystico should be something.
Yeah.
So what would
honestly,
you do with Mystico?
Dude, if you're doing an angle with Claudio, that wouldn't hurt him all because the idea is he's pissed off right now. You know?
Absolutely.
He gets caught again on a big show where his BCC teammate Dragon wins. I don't know. That to me is one way. You don't want to do a match where it's you're throwing him a bone. That would be lame, right? If it's a guy that you know isn't going to win, it's Claudio's credible. and he's somewhat protected. So that'd be my pitch. Match would be
Non
sick, too.
AEW talent. I could see Zack Sabre Jr. winning.
I would actually like Zack to win.
I would love for Zack to win.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Like
he should win.
it's
was
not
like,
a
yeah,
title
yeah.
match, so
He should win.
Yeah. Yeah, I'd
I
like
had
to
to
see
think
Zack
about that. I
win.
was just like, does OC have a belt? No, he doesn't have that belt anymore.
Not yet.
No, well, we never know. We never know.
Give it a couple more weeks.
Oh, I'm gonna wake up
Nathan-
tomorrow and have the belt. I'll be like, yeah, checks out.
Yeah, Osprey just gave this to me, guys. I don't know.
Carry around in a backpack. It's alright.
Nathan Dewey, $10 super chat. Curious what you think might have been planned for Copeland at Forbidden Door. Oh, who are some of your
know.
interproportional dream matches for him? Wonder what they planned for him at All In as well. So we know what was planned at Forbidden Door. Chuck, would you like
We
to
do.
release that information?
I don't think it's technically information I'm allowed to release. Just know that he was going to do a Cope Open against someone you wouldn't have expected from New Japan Pro Wrestling. Someone who
But
is
what if-
currently a champion. That is all I will give you.
Someone who you wouldn't have expected, but would have popped huge from New Japan
Yes.
Pro Wrestling.
Chase Owens?
They got
Well, same faction. That's
got
all
those-
I'm saying.
they got those tag belts off that Trouble Lord, thank God. I don't know what for sure what his plans were for All In, but I assume they were going to do the Bucks tag match.
I think it was.
Copeland,
I think, yeah.
Because
I-
like once, go ahead, Chuck.
I have been told that I wasn't far off with what I thought was
See?
going to be happening at All In. So
Because if you notice, like we all like theorized, Bucks versus Edge and Christian, Bucks versus Edge and Christian, Bucks versus Edge and Christian, and then as soon as Edge went down, the next
Yep.
time we see Christian on TV, he's like, "Oh, we're in the trios division now, guys."
mhm.
So I think there's something to be said there that they had to do a hard pivot and was like, what are we gonna do with Christian now at All
It's
In?
going to be
Yeah.
tough,
So
dude, because Cope's going to be out for a
Yeah.
while. It's going to be,
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah.
Fucking
And that's why we got
heartbroken.
you mentioned, the pivot. That was why they did such a drastic angle on Collision,
Yeah.
right? It was like, we did that program. Yeah. Yeah, interesting. It's a bummer because both those matches sound really fucking awesome. But
Mhm.
hopefully we get them when Cope is back and ready to go whenever that may be. All right. We all caught up on Super Chats, brother?
we
All
are.
good? All right, folks. That about does it. A very fun show. A hell of a time here today. If you've enjoyed this, please hit the thumbs up. Please do subscribe. Leave a comment below. I don't know what you want to comment.
Comment your favorite Joe Holbert WrestlePurists Dynamite review memory.
Yes.
Yes, please do so I can remember some of them. That'd be good. So, go do that. Quick plug on my part. Tomorrow night, I've mentioned it a few times. 10 Eastern, we're live. Slammiversary 2009 Grin Along. That is this week's Late Night Grin show. Manny the Hooper watching 2009 TNA, bro. He's going to buy a Main Event Mafia shirt within hours of this thing. Being off the air. So that's what we're doing tomorrow night.
Off the
Late
air, he'll
Night
do it on the
Grin.
air.
Oh, absolutely. No doubt. Chuck, do you have anything to plug?
For once, no, I do not.
Good for
I have
you.
nothing to plug this week.
Good for you, Chuck. Folks, this has been a hell of a time. I really do sincerely appreciate the support. If you've messaged me and stuff, I may not get to it for a while because I need to unplug for a bit, but I appreciate it. I will get to it. And this has been a great time. I may be back for one last time next week because we don't know yet what the lineup is for next week. So I don't want to overdo it. If I do a big speech here and then I'm back, it kind of kills my deal here. But
Pulling an AJ Styles.
right, either way, I could do with the Good Brothers as backup, but either way,
Indeed.
worldwide, I will be there. So I'll see everyone in the WrestlePurists galaxy there. AO, any plugs you've got, and then take us out, mate. Go for it.
Sunday show this Sunday? I don't know, maybe. We'll see.
We say this every week. I don't know.
Stay
Sometimes
tuned,
happens.
yeah. Stay tuned to our show socials. There might be a Sunday show. A lot of fun today. Appreciate the chat, appreciate the super chats. Please leave a comment. If you can't remember your favorite Joe Holbert memory, comment anything. And we are out of here.